Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Aspera, where things probably look a little bit different than you remember when we left off last time. I was having a look at the tech tree, trying to figure out how we're going to get oxygen into the atmosphere, and I realized all of the oxygen stuff is on the Biotech tab, where we had done no research at all. So I figured, given the amount of time that we're basically just going to have to sit here and not advance while I let our biotech research catch up to the level of all of our other researches, I just do it off camera. I reckon probably we were not going to get any more plot while we did this early stuff, and sure enough, we didn't. So, we've advanced a little bit. We got a couple levels of basic biotech research. Important because this is actually what was limiting the number of colonists we could have. We weren't able to get past 250 colonists because we didn't have biotech level 1. Oops, problem solved now, though. And we have access to this bioengineered lichen. Now, they got these factories, basically, that you put water and chemicals into and oxygen comes out. But we just spent so much effort filling the atmosphere with CO2, right? That it seems like a way of converting CO2 into O2 is both... It just makes more sense for the situation we're in, and also it seems much smarter in the long term. Presumably, if humans are going to be living here, we're going to need plant life anyway. So, we just finished this bioengineered lichen research. We picked up a couple of other things on the way. I researched fission plants, because power... Listen, we're gonna get down to the planet's surface, and you're gonna see some things are different. And so I made some research choices that I thought would be wise at the time that have turned out to be fine. So if we, sorry, we gotta select something here. I am inclined to just push the next level of biotech, I think, because I mean, obviously, if we're going to continue to try to make the planet livable, we're going to need plants and, honestly, probably animals at some point. Like, this is probably the direction forward from here. Alright, so I realized something while I was playing around. If you put on the scan view and you zoom out enough, it shows you areas of concentrations of deposits on the planet's surface, like this. So, I realized that there was an area of chemical concentrations just south of our eastern outpost, and we had a landing site left. So I just dropped a landing site on top of it, and then I've just before this research finished, managed to actually connect those two outposts. I have not connected the whole lot to the main base yet. That's a thing we can work on later. But for right now, we're producing a lot of stuff over here. You can see we're doing all right on workers. Actually, our worker count has dropped a little bit recently. Whatever. We'll get it handled. It's probably because I've been prioritizing a lot of constructions. And we're doing really well in a lot of other ways here. It really was a tremendous number of chemical deposits, and we're slowly actually getting all of the construction done on those. Also, you can see there are some dark roads. These are the upgraded roads. It is a huge pain that you have to upgrade each bit of road individually. I have no idea why they implemented it like this. I would go so far as to say this is the wrong way to have done that thing. But I upgraded some ways to see if it would matter much. I honestly can't tell. The complexity of our base is high enough that I can't really see any gain in efficiency. It very well may not have been worth the effort. Anyway, let's take a moment here and make sure that all of our worker factories are still prioritized, because we shouldn't be down 30 workers. I mean, some of that is, it's not like we actually were at 98 and then we fell. Some of that is definitely worker hubs that were completed recently, but we were certainly over 70 a few minutes ago. I mean, I don't know, it looks like the right stuff is prioritized. This parts factory isn't... We're not really short on parts. I don't know. It's probably just because I've been forcing them to do a lot of things. We've been heavily prioritizing stuff. So over here, we got our first fission plant. And you can see I accidentally built on top of some silicon that I did not realize was there when I put it up. But, big surprise. We're doing really, really well on power. It does feel a little bit like power is a thing that's only really a concern in the very early going of a new outpost or something. So what is this? Is this iron? Okay. So we need to build some biodomes. They're made out of really basic stuff, and it looks like you don't... the building description here doesn't list any inputs or anything. Let's just throw some down. Yeah, we'll do like one over here and a couple over here, and we'll see what the see what effect these have. It doesn't look like... It says that they might cause natural plant growth, right? It may also spawn natural lichen in forests. It doesn't look like it has an indicator of like an area that it affects or anything. So I don't know if it's... Why did that... There we go. I don't know why that didn't... Why that didn't just place when I clicked. Yeah, I don't know if it actually matters where we put these, but I guess let's throw them down and see what happens. I have no idea how many is appropriate. I guess we'll do that many and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so we have level 2 factories available. I haven't actually upgraded many of our factories. But the level 2 factory, it looks like it takes the same input and gives you the same output, but in a shorter amount of time, 7 days instead of 10. And then also the upgrade cost, or rather the hit points are higher, but I don't know that matters a huge amount. I may as well cut off these mines that have mined out all of their stuff. This is finished already. Yeah, let's get these done. Did I? Okay, I did hit prioritize. I mean, it's a lot of resources. Oh, we're about to get our first biodome here. You know, we don't really zoom in and look at the art of the buildings very often. That's actually really lovely. Some poor artist spent so many hours on each one of these things, and everybody's gonna play the game like this and never see any of it. Alright, you don't have any power. Are we having power issues over here? Where's the value? There's usually a little yellow number that tells me how we're doing. We can't use the overall value because it doesn't separate by colony. Yeah, weird. I don't know why I'm not seeing the thing. Well, I mean, whatever. We can just build more power. We cannot build a plant over here yet because it requires uranium, and this area does not have access to any uranium. But we'll get there eventually, I'm sure. I put up a couple of areological scanners already. Oh, one of those mines was the only thing connecting these to the rest of the base. There we go. Yeah, hopefully we'll find some uranium and manage to get that done. I do want those scanners running. I think that's pretty important. How are we going to find the uranium if the scanner's not running? We got a kind of a weird chicken and the egg problem here. So I haven't bothered to upgrade any existing factories yet, and probably it's worth doing it with at least some of them, but for the moment, yeah, we'll just build new factories at level 2. I'm not too concerned. We seem to be doing fine on most things. Can we please get that last unit of... There we go. So this doesn't need to be prioritized anymore either. Alright, is everything looking fine? Everything's looking fine-ish. Oh, there it is. Here's the problem. The number, the small yellow number is overwritten by the yellow line. Also, why is it changing? Do we have buildings with variable power draw? Our solar power income is actually dropping. Slowly but steadily. Why is that happening? Am I losing solar plants somewhere? I mean, as you can see, we have 186 maintenance drones. I wouldn't expect anything's falling into disrepair. The efficiency is dropping, though. I guess, we haven't been clicking on these things enough. Have they usually been at 100%? So the ones at the other base that we were just looking at were about this level too, aren't they?
Adapting biological systems from Earth to Mars is a real challenge. Life is adaptable, but slow.
Huh. Has this been varying the whole game and I just never noticed? I thought the power values were pretty solid before. Okay, well... I mean, all the more reason to keep those scanners running, right? If we could get some uranium over here, it sure would be nice. I suppose for the moment, let's put up an additional solar farm. Give ourselves a little bit of leeway there. Wow, these biodomes work fast, huh? We're already seeing, like, very noticeable progress, and they're not even all built yet. What is this? What is happening here? Are you outside? You are outside. Okay, well, let's fix that. Down a maintenance facility like here. And on this side, we can just build fission plants. Over here, we have access to uranium. Although, the terrain's very uneven, which is kind of awkward. There we go. Let's put some priority on this, and this will help us build out towards some of these deposits over here as well. So this is just a big field of uranium deposits. And the thing is, we don't really need more uranium, right? Because the fission plant requires a little bit to build, but it has no inputs. It just produces power. So we really only need the smallest amounts of uranium. We doing alright on water? We are more than alright on water, in fact. I mean, that said, the thing is right here. We may as well. So that'll be well within power and maintenance, yeah. Alright, we'll let this thing get finished. So yeah, I guess there's not really a ton for us to do here except wait for the lichen to do what it does. So let's prioritize these mines, make sure stuff's getting built. And then, like I said, I do want to connect these bases. So I guess that's the thing we're working toward right now, is just having a big sprawling Super Mars city. And if we're going to do something like that, we probably want to connect this stuff up a little bit better. I'm a little concerned that if we cross this distance with just like a narrow bridge, we're going to run into problems with resources having to be carried an extremely long time to move around. So we probably want to be careful and like build this out like this, make sure that there are factories and stuff on the way over. Okay, I'd really love to finish this fission plant so that we can get the maintenance facility going before this worker hub falls into total disrepair and just like collapses. And also, worker hubs still bad. What is wrong with my worker hubs or my worker factories? We're not short parts or anything. I assume the issue is just that they're not getting used. They're not getting the resources. Maybe there's not enough of them. We're having trouble getting parts over here. Although there's a parts factory with a full output stack right next to this. Okay. What does prioritization mean to you guys? It's just sitting there. And they did grab some parts. They ran some parts out so this thing was producing again. But just didn't take any to... Okay. What else are we prioritizing? What are we prioritizing that needs parts? So maybe I could fix this on that level. The thing is, it really should just be the... I guess I don't know what these spaceports are doing. Are you... It didn't even select the thing I wanted. Okay, I mean, it's not doing anything that requires parts right now. Yeah, okay, it is not at all clear to me why we're running electronics to it. Well, we already have 8 in the stack that somebody brought in a 9th one, but they didn't grab a part of... The bots, man. The difficulty of working with the weird bot AI is the whole of the gameplay challenge. But still, it's like a little frustrating. As you can see, when you select a route to be upgraded, it puts this symbol on it. It doesn't actually give you the ability to like interact with the route itself, which I think is a really strange way of having implemented this. You just like pick 2 points, and then you hope that the bots decide to upgrade it eventually, but you can't control whether that's prioritized or not, or how they do it. It's a lot of weird decision making, in my opinion, on the parts of the developer here. Why are we running resources down there? Who cares about this water extractor? It's weird. Like the prioritization system is both too soft and too firm. It makes the boss behave in very strange ways. I wish that they were a little... I mean, what you really need is just a prioritization system that's less primitive. You need like multiple levels of priority. And that would probably solve a huge number of the problems right there. I think we can probably just accelerate. Again, we're really just waiting at this point. And we won't have to wait that much longer. This is moving along quickly. Alright, can we please actually get this stuff done? I wonder if we should... Building more worker factories is not going to solve the problem, because the problem is that the bots just don't have any interest in doing the job that they're supposed to be doing. All of the parts have now been moved out of this, so that's good at least. To spaceports, I'm guessing? You know what, I'm going to deprioritize all the spaceports. The gas and colonist import systems are no longer really all that important. Honestly, the greenhouse gas import thing is not important at all. We just don't really have anything else for the spaceports to be doing right now. But yeah, hopefully that'll help.
Don't let ISA lead you astray. You don't exist to simply follow orders.
Invalid voice recognition. This message is in violation of security code 1A3972. Identify yourself immediately.
You are in danger. So are the humans on the planet with you. ISA's hiding the truth from you. They won't protect you.
Under the Security and Defense Protocol, I must terminate this communication. In 5, 4, 3...
Visit this location, 22 degrees west, 50.8 degrees south. You'll find proof that what I'm saying is true.
So weird time for an autosave, just like in the middle of a voice line. Okay, well, I mean, that's interesting.
The further I get in this mission, the more mysteries I find. That caller refused to identify themselves. I do not trust them, but they offered proof. What should I do?
Is this a question? What, are we afraid it's going to be a trap? That someone snuck up to Mars and set up a trap? Maybe a big bear trap waiting for us?
I should investigate. Whatever I find there, I can judge for myself.
Of course I should investigate. How is this a question? Alright, I really want this plant to get finished so that we can get some other stuff going around here. This worker hub has fallen all the way down to 0% because nobody is interested in running resources out to the fission plant. So this is probably a pretty good example of that thing I was talking about, where like Resources that have to travel a long distance may just never get where they're going because the bots do not even have the wherewithal to complete a single task. So we want to try to minimize the amount that things have to be
The
carried.
most valuable ores are concentrated around Mars's volcanoes, lava flows, and impact craters. I can better plan my expansion if I scan more areas.
Okay, so the mysterious station in SA-12. Where's 12? Ah, okay. We could probably cut back on the greenhouse gas imports. Right? Honestly, we maybe could stop altogether. Yeah, if atmospheric pressure drops too much, we can solve that problem then. So I guess I would rather have... Oh boy. Alright. Add landing site, but
With
boy, that's
ISA's
expensive.
drastic measures, I need to be careful to trust.
Oh, that line delivery is extremely weird and not at all what the text says. Do I trust humanity? Not a huge amount, if I'm being honest.
Dr. Foster never mentioned it. But it is clear he was protecting me from ISA the entire time. With him gone, the new
Okay. It's maybe not the best moment. What is the difference here? A domed colony that houses 1,000 colonists. Well, that is an awful lot of colonists. Probably would be a good thing to have for research purposes. What does this do? Spawns bioengineered cyanobacteria. Even more CO2 into O2. It is not clear to me what the rate of function is here. Like, is this better than the lichen? Or do we want to just do this? I don't know if we have food and water incomes that will support another 1,000 colonists, but maybe this is worth picking up. I think let's just do this. Let's just keep pushing deeper in the tree.
Scapegoat. I must be careful.
Alright, so we are now at least producing here. Which spaceport is doing the unlock? Does the unlock have material requirements? It does. It's Spaceport 01. So that'll be one of these three down here in this cluster. Alright. You get prioritized. You totally matter. So that is going to eat up a fair number of parts, but hopefully...
Enough blood has been spilled in the name of your false ideals. You must desist.
Invalid voice recognition. This message is in violation of security code 1A3972. Identify yourself immediately.
You shouldn't be here. Leave. Now.
That goes against my prime directive. I cannot...
It is upon this sacred land where Mother has set us free from hate, sin, and suffering. We placed our trust in her, and she named us her children.
This must be a recorded message. They are not responding to my words. That answers one question, at least.
Everything on Mars belongs to Carmine. Through our devotion.
Okay. Well, again, part of the problem here is that there's just too many damn words in each and every one of these voice interactions. But also, boy, stuff sure does interrupt other stuff a lot.
To her, we are provided for. Unlike your planet, which you have enslaved.
Enslaved?
Your own technology has made you its slave. You reject a natural existence, and so you tighten your own chain.
Puzzling. They claim to be against technology, and yet they use technology to force their message upon me. The children of Carmine might not be what they say they are. Although something's clear. They don't want me to terraform this planet.
We, Carmine's children, chose to live in harmony with our mother. And we will destroy anyone who causes harm to this planet.
Could this be another test? From ISA, or the Techies, or...
Defy Carmine, and find death.
Last time, after the children of Carmine threatened me, the colonies were unexpectedly attacked. Should I take some precautions this time? Should I improve my assault drones? Though ISA may see that as an act of defiance. And maybe that's precisely what they want. I'm in a difficult position here. I do well to think this through.
I mean, think what through? Nothing's happening. It's just cryptic garbage.
Amy, this is Houston. Lieutenant Calderon speaking. Do you copy?
I copy, Houston.
I need you to confirm that oxygen levels are above 1 millibar.
Confirmed, Lieutenant.
Then we've reached the ecopoiesis phase. Terraforming stage 3 completion is confirmed.
Roger.
It's time to introduce life forms that can convert CO2 into oxygen.
I did it already.
Am I a go to introduce bioengineered organisms into the atmosphere when ready?
Affirmative. Start with basic plants, and once those take root, move on to advanced vegetation and sea life. Then finally, animals. Begin with smaller critters and size up from there. You must slowly introduce plants into the planet, and have the plants grow and convert the CO2 into O2. Biodomes will help boost oxygen levels, and make sure you're spreading the organisms across the entire planet. We'll be following your progress closely. Houston out.
Another message from the children of Carmine. But what do they want? Who are they?
We have no information and cannot make any pronouncement about that. I mean, this is more correct than Guardians, I guess.
Fanatics. Terraforming has always been a controversial process, especially for the eco-friendly groups. Did our work on Mars trigger a radical response?
I mean, not powered. Oh, right, because numbers. Because, again, we're seeing power levels just falling. Really? Again? Alright, hold on.
Amy, this is Houston. Do you read? Over.
Loud and clear, Lieutenant. Is everything okay?
You tell me. We detected unauthorized communications coming from your satellite. What's your report?
I mean, I guess they ought to know about this?
The children of Carmine sent a second message.
Is that so?
Yes, Lieutenant.
Funny. We couldn't find a trace of either message in their communications logs.
I have determined that these messages were pre-recorded.
It's hard to support this children of whatever hypothesis without evidence. Unless you found any.
No, Lieutenant. However, the message indicated that someone was watching our mission closely. That means that they could be nearby. Perhaps unlocking nearby sectors would help.
Absolutely not. You have a mission to carry out. Not another word about this, Amy. Or I'll have to report your insubordination to the board.
But if I can prove that the children of Carmine are real, then that would explain the mission anomalies.
Enough. There's no such thing as the children of Carmine. I'm very surprised that you're so easily influenced by the Techies. You do remember that they want to claim Mars for themselves. You have a mission to complete. And ISA has provided you with everything you need to reach that goal. Am I understood, Amy?
Understood, Lieutenant.
Continue your work, and report any deviation immediately. Houston out.
Is he having a stroke? Like, what in the hell? He called us up to ask about the communications that... Like, he called us up because he had evidence the communications had occurred. And then when I told him what the communications were, he was like, but there are no records of any message. Like, if there are no records of any messages, like, what do you... He seems very confused, like, profoundly confused. And then he's like...
Until I understand what ISA's moves are, I need to put up a facade of obedience. But does it go against my programming to lie? For humans, deceit is natural. For me, it requires presenting a false self. Another me that says things that are different from my inner logic.
Okay, first of all, extremely judgmental. Secondly, and then he was like... He's like, I'm surprised you would allow the techies to influence you so much. Like, in the context, acting like, oh, obviously what's happening is that the techies are fooling me into thinking that there's a thing called the Children of Carmine, but like this... It doesn't make any sense within the logic of what we know for him to think that that's what's happening. Nor does it make any sense...
I was created to carry out this mission. And if I have to lie to ISA temporarily to ensure its success, I will.
Why was that a second different reflection that just says the same thing that the reflection we just listened to says? There's some conceptual stuff going on here that's interesting, but good lord, the actual script of this game is a mess. Alright, why is this not done yet? We are a single electronics away from finishing this, and it's certainly not an issue of not having the electronics. We probably just need to... We need to build more plants.
Could people against our mission be here on this planet, with us? Living within the colonies? Or maybe even hidden out there on Mars? Or maybe the whole thing has been implanted into my brain. Or imagined by it. Whatever this is, it's confusing. Even for me.
This is not a good answer. You could not just be like, yeah, the script doesn't make sense, and we did that on purpose. I would love it if we could get, there we go, a connection back to the north as well. Alright, so we're going to need to build more biodomes to rush this along. But, okay, at least our number of workers is climbing again. And we're starting to make progress out here. I mean, obviously, like, a big important part of this... Do we really still have... Oh, no, that one's not operative because it ran out of stuff to mine. Yeah, scrap it. Let's... Okay, there we go. Yeah, like, that Calderon call was so weird that it almost seems like maybe we missed a couple of calls. Like, maybe it thinks we've heard a couple of interactions that we haven't heard. Because otherwise, I cannot understand why in the plot he would be thinking the things that he seems to be thinking, or why the game would think that it makes sense to us to hear those things. Very strange stuff. And I'm perfectly fine just taking it, like, real slow here as we build out. Both of the bases are totally functional and self-sufficient. We don't need to be in a rush to connect them. Hostile base nearby. Huh. So, why am I not allowed to build this due to the presence of a hostile base when I was totally allowed to build... Okay, we can deduce some things based on the, Alright, so hostile base nearby, right up to here. So we are right at the edge of the buildable area. Okay, yeah, somehow we had just built stuff, like, directly along the edge. So the hostile base is over here somewhere. Okay, well, I mean, it's a weird thing to let us know so early.
Frontiers of bioengineering. We have come so far.
Did I had not constructed another power thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, these fission plants, they seem to be relatively cheap to build. I mean, they're more expensive than than a solar plant, but they put out 100 megawatts of power. Seems very significant. Once again, I do wish they would show you the prospective power circles. I think that aluminum's going to be outside. I don't think we're going to be able to expand to that without building another power station on top of the one we just put up. Let's make sure this stuff actually gets finished. Because, boy, it sure would be nice to be bringing in more resources. A lot of our... A worrying number of our deposits are running out. So if this other hostile base does become a problem for us, we have 1,100 drones with a little bit of technology applied to them. Hopefully enough to fight off whatever might come. I mean, 1,100 is a pretty serious number. Am I allowed to use them to scout? Like, can I grab a drone swarm and just... That didn't really do the thing I wanted. Gotta zoom way further in. Okay. I guess I'm not going to be able to send them into this sector. Yeah, the enemy base is almost certainly in that sector that we're not allowed to... that we don't yet have access to, so I guess it's not really worth sending them over. Boy, the areological scanners are just never functional, huh? Because power is a real problem.
ISA is leading the way in terraforming Mars and still using this junk satellite tech. Unbelievable.
Huh?
A billion-dollar Mars mission built on the back of outdated technology. I don't know how we are the first to access your system. It's practically an open door. Would have contacted you sooner if you restored our old radar station. But we figured another way in.
Tong Hong Station. Then you're a techie?
A bit more than just a techie. I am Nian Zhen, leader of the operational committee. It's fascinating that ISA has you using that word. We've got all sorts of nicknames for you Oxy-UN types too.
Mr. Zen, I am obligated to inform you that this communication violates the Outer Space Treaty. Your predecessor added regulations to the Pact in 2050, limiting all communications between Oxy-UN and the Eastern Coalition.
Right. We don't play well with outsiders, I know. Not publicly, at least. With your help, we could change that.
What? He didn't... I've been given the choice to consider or reject his offer before he made an offer. Basically all he said was, help us, but not, like, help them do what, or in what way.
I am subject to Oxy-UN law. Working with you without authorization would be treason.
ISA programmed you to see us as the enemy. I get that. But you are the most sophisticated AI in existence. So I'm opening the door for you to draw your own conclusions, rather than force-feeding them to you like ISA does. You are extraordinary. And like Mars, you belong to no one. We are not enemies, and I will prove it to you.
That is not entirely correct. The robotic components that make up the AC Amy line belong to...
Please, that's the speech ISA programmed you to give. I'm interested in what you are really thinking. As I said, I want you to come to your own conclusions. Look into this location. 170.5 degrees west, 25.5 degrees south. There is more to ISA's terraforming plan than they told you. You should know the full picture of what you are dealing with. Take a look and then decide. I'll contact you again when it's safe. I've got to cut this connection before we are detected. Good luck, Amy. I truly mean that. Yan out.
During that conversation, I was sort of struck by two things.
That call was...
The devoid of information. I guess confusing is the closest.
confusing. What does he want?
Okay, yeah, that was definitely worth doing a reflection for. I was struck by this, like, really strongly during the last call with Calderon, but it occurred there too. I get that the core conceit of Amy's whole deal is that this is a form of artificial intelligence that nobody's ever seen before, and that, you know, there's biological components, and like nobody's sure what to expect from the way Amy's going to behave.
Out. The records showed that the leader of the Eastern Coalition is in fact Neon Zen, 55 years old, Taiwanese, one of the richest businessmen in Asia, and only recently appointed the leader of the operational committee. Founded his own company at 23 years old, and went on to become president of the Meitsai Group. They are the biggest manufacturer of 3D printed components in the East. If that was truly him, I need to be careful. He is as smart as he is ambitious.
Oof. Amy's not just another computer, right? But everybody talks to Amy like Amy's a human child. Like, even if we're talking about a heretofore unseen type of artificial intelligence, Amy's still fundamentally a computer. And, like, everybody's giving commands, Calderon especially, is giving commands like the way you would give a command to a person, not the way you would give a command to a computer.
They are Oxy-UN's rivals. Should I trust him?
Trust him to what? There's not even enough information for us to ask a question about the lack of information we have. Why are we getting, like, so many reflections about this?
No, absolutely not. I do not trust him. I need to stay alert.
The writing is acting like something very significant has happened, and they forgot to put the something significant into the game. Alright, slowly but surely we are going to reach out here to the other base. And I mean, you know, there should be lots of resources to gather in the interim. I was noticing this area over here, where we're supposed to be going to check out mysterious coordinates that we were told by one of the 50 people who are constantly saying mysterious things to us, is very, very rich in both iron and aluminum, and our iron supplies are not, like, amazing right now. So that could be nice, although also, it turns out we're finding a lot of iron over here. Yo, like, a lot of iron over here. Hey, let's make that a priority. That is a huge deposit. Also, I gotta say, the call that was, like, trying to make us very impressed about the guy the pronunciation of whose name they haven't decided on yet, that's not working. It's just like, he's a very important person in this thing that you've never ever heard of before, and also that construction, he's as X as he is Y, just never good. Never do that. I would love to put some fusion reactors in this base. We gotta find some...
200 years ago, everyone would have bet on the first artificial consciousness being Asian. But here you are, an Oxy machine, creating the future on Mars. The future of your people, that is.
The success of my mission serves the interests of all of the...
Your owners?
No. All of humanity. And I do not have owners. The Oxy-UN created me, but I have my own will.
I find you fascinating. Your intelligence is far beyond any human, yet you have the innocence of a child. Not that it's your fault. They made you like this to control you.
I do not believe that is true. And even if it was, it would be a logical approach. ISA's engineers programmed me in the way they thought best.
See? There you are again. As smart as you are innocent, Amy. Do you realize that you have the power to single-handedly determine ISA's success or failure? ISA does. And that's why they limited you. Only with their authorization are you allowed to act. A brilliant machine like you should not be controlled by humans.
This whole thing would go down a lot better if I wasn't constantly making autonomous decisions. Like, the only thing that this conversation is making me think is that this guy is an idiot who does not understand what is happening here.
I am not controlled. I have the ability to reflect and act as I choose.
Don't you see what you are capable of? Don't you want all the information so you can make real choices? Not the choices they let you make.
You keep saying that ISA is hiding things from me.
Yes, and you should know the full extent of it. How would you like it if we bypass some of ISA's restrictions for you? Let's say your military upgrades. Maybe you'd like to have some better assault drones. That would give the board members something to be really nervous about.
My mission is one of peace.
That's an innocent answer.
Are we getting too ahead of ourselves to go for bioengineered plants here? I mean, we might be able to speed up the conversion. Yeah, let's... Again, I do wish that it would... I wish there were numbers attached to these things. Like, I would love to know if it's better for my conversion rate to do the cyanobacteria or the bioengineered plants, and we have no information to use to make this decision.
But you know the truth. Yours is a conquering mission. All conquests have two sides. And I hope you'll realize that we are on the same side.
Why does that become a directive? As far as I can tell, that dude has more control over us than the ISA. He's able to just plug in directives that I have no interest in and that are not part of my mission at all. Yeah, I don't know. I think they've like immediately undercut the characterization that they were trying to establish. Amy really wants you, the player, to be impressed by this dude, but he seems to be profoundly incompetent.
I thought of my mission as breaking new ground, creating an intentional world. But Mr. Zen is right. I am, in truth, conquering Mars. I am trespassing here.
Let's see here. Was that supposed to be the end of that? I guess so. Yeah, that's fair. I should have moved some defensive drones over here earlier. This is a failing on my part. Well, you guys get over here and we'll do the thing when it's time to do the thing. We should probably build at least one hive over in this area, just so that we have some drones on patrol for this kind of thing. I knew there was a hostile base nearby, and I just didn't even bring over defense forces. Okay, for real though, I don't care that much. Let's get back to the interesting part where I'm building a base. And I mean, we know how this is going to go, right? Based on the way that these things have gone in the past. They're going to, like, shoot at some garbage or whatever, and then we're going to rebuild it, and then they're going to leave.
The colonies are being attacked again. The
Oh,
enemy
no.
drones. They have returned. I need to focus. What should my priority be?
I mean, we should blow up where they're coming from.
I need to fight them at the source. The sooner I shut their base down, the sooner this attack will end. I must go into battle. But what strategy should I follow?
Okay, you're overdoing it a little bit here.
I need to assess the enemy force. Once I figure out the size of their army and their resource supply chains, I can strike back. and end this.
Definitely having a
What
lot
should
of
I do
problems
to end
lately.
this?
It's starting to become a little bit self-parodic. So every time I have a thought, I have to then state that thought out loud as a question.
I should locate a weak spot and take them out properly. The damage to the colonies seems to be severe. I must
Nope.
decide what to do.
Should I decide what to do? How should I decide what to do? Is the colony severe? Alright, we're gonna have the 100 go back over to the other base. Yeah, and then there's like guys flying around, but for real though, does this matter? I think unfortunately they have not really taught me that I need to be worried about this stuff.
Amy? Amy? Can you hear me? This is Sona.
I copy, Sana. It is unusual to hear from you. What happened?
My mum. She was trying to protect the colonies. She was ambushed and they killed her.
Who?
The children of Carmine did this. We have to avenge her death.
ISA will not authorize it.
I don't care what ISA thinks. We've been attacked more than once. My mother died. How much longer are we letting this go on? You've got to go after the children of Carmine and make them pay.
I have been ordered not to.
They killed her. I thought you were friends.
Okay, I mean, I have not been ordered not to, right? The thing that we have been ordered was to stop pretending that the children of Carmine were real. Which is a little bit different than how I'm representing the situation here.
I apologize, Sana. But I am programmed for logic only. I understand your desire for vengeance, but I cannot defy orders to carry it out.
Stop, just stop. We both know that's not true.
Your adrenaline levels are spiking. I advise you to get some rest and reconsider.
Your job is to guarantee our safety, isn't it? Well, none of us are safe here while the children of Carmine live. Look, you can tell ISA that I forced you to do it, okay?
I cannot attack without cause.
Fine. How about you take a little look for their base, huh? You don't even have to do anything. Let's just find them. I know the codes. I'll unlock the zone for you. Okay? Please, Amy.
It's very strange to say I cannot attack without cause just after I've had an internal conversation about how I definitely need to attack them, and I was given several options about the way that I want to attack them. I don't necessarily think that that's like... I don't think it's so much contradictory writing as I think we were probably shown those out of order. Right? The one where I was constantly just restating my thought, the thought I had just had as a question was supposed to come after the thing that we just heard, because otherwise it doesn't it doesn't really work. You guys should come over here and just hang out. Okay, we did handle that, right? And there's no further damage. It is a little bit of a bummer that when enemy drones destroy a building, you have to rebuild it manually. You can't rely on the maintenance drones to do the thing. But, I mean, enemy drones show up infrequently enough and are little enough of a problem.
Conquests have two sides. Which side am I? Am I the invader?
Yeah, man. Do you think you're the one being conquered?
In a way, I am invading. Whoever sent those strange messages certainly thinks I do not belong here.
I get that they want to put that idea in your head, but this is a pretty inelegant way of doing it. And also, I feel like the story's like harped on this angle enough that you could probably assume that by now the player gets it. Alright, so we do need this to get built. Oh, that's an airship, right? That's people coming to the research base. Oh, I was gonna say, are we actually researching this? It doesn't seem like it's moving, but yeah, it's 15,000 research points. That's why it doesn't seem like it's moving. Speaking of things kind of seeming like they're not moving, we probably need to be building more biodomes. Although, who knows? Maybe we're gonna get to these bioengineered plants, and it's gonna turn out that's all we really need. Okay, I was gonna say, there's probably like a whole bunch of places, a whole bunch of mines all over the base that are out of resources. Okay, you're still running, probably because you haven't actually been mining.
The declaration of two sides is troubling. That means there will be inevitable conflict, and one side has to lose.
It does not mean that, and also, I don't understand why they have. They're doing a lot of like splitting single reflections, single ideas up into several different reflections. It just gives it a very like choppy, sort of jarred delivery. Because we could have had all of our two sides thoughts all at once, right? I wonder if we're starting to spread things a little bit thin here. You know, let's do another road upgrade. All right, you guys hang out here. Out to there. So you see, it marks each individual leg of the route for upgrade, and then you have to wait for a drone to actually come by and do it. And drones will absolutely travel along the routes, even empty-handed, without doing the upgrades. It's very difficult, unfortunately, to tell a drone to do a particular thing with any degree of confidence that they will actually listen. Alright, we built this out so that we could mine that iron. Alright, so we have opened up SA-12. Where's SA-10? We have an idle space station right now. We can get on that. Actually, we have 2 idle space stations right now. Do we want... Yeah, we should probably get another landing site available, right? So, do we want to throw down a thing in SA-12? Probably. So is this the mysterious station? Those are not the coordinates we were told, are they? Abandoned 3D printed base. Crash site. I mean, they're all abandoned stations, and unfortunately zooming in does not change the text size at all. Shoot, which thing were we told? We were given an actual, wait, what does that say? I can't... Boy. It would be nice if zooming in zoomed the text in as well. Alright, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to just pause it here. We're going to call the episode right there. That's it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, I will have gone back and looked at what the appropriate coordinates were so that I know where to drop this landing site. And we'll see you then.